for it, and you got it. We are back, live on deck. One of us has returned from a search for Mylène all over France.
Not even close. Unless Mylène was a baked good, yes, then I was searching for Mylène.
Well, you could have run into her in a bakery somewhere.
I would know what
France.
she looks like. There are a lot of old women with red hair in France. Sorry, but it's true.
Well, she's the icon. Yeah. She's back. What's going on? How was your trip? Oh, well, I'm going to let you finish show number 179 on the Pantheon Podcast Network.
It was good. Thank you. It was fun. I ate a lot. Basically. It was fun.
So you don't eat the meats. What did you actually eat?
Cake.
10 days of cakes.
8 days of cake. Well, 7 days of cake. Well, actually, to the point where my friend Jesse, hi Jesse, was sort of getting concerned that he was like, I
haven't seen you eat anything but a baked good.
Yeah, well, he was like worried about my protein intake. He's like, are you going to be? No. Actually, France is it's a horrible country for vegetarians in one sense, but in another sense, because there's so many North African people there and other cultures. You have a lot of Tunisian food, you have a lot of Lebanese food, so a lot of Turkish food. Yeah, so I was okay. I was good, and I just remain in continuous awe of the French people's ability to tie a scarf. I don't know how they do it. We have two hands just like they do. We have scars just like they. I don't know how they do it. It's extraordinary. No, I mean, like everybody, like the dogs had scarves. The homeless people had scarves. I was like, how do they do it? But maybe because they don't go out of their house wearing house slippers and slides and pajamas.
That could have something to do with it.
But anyway, it was fun. Thank you. Great not paying attention to the United States for 8 days. Always a fun thing. Mm-hmm. You're good? Everything's good?
Yeah, everything's good.
All right. Come back. Our mayor's allegedly a rapist,
Again, isn't this the second?
No, I think this maybe.
No, this is the
second, yeah.
This is not the first accusation.
No,
we got those first accusations over the summer, I believe.
Right. This is new one. Yeah, he's great. Wonderful, wonderful guy. All right. So lots of things happen. We want to start with this. Okay. I want to, Olivia Rodrigo on her Gut tour, was going to have, I assume it was a table in the lobby.
No, there's an organization.
I know. I'm getting to that. She was going to distribute the organization.
She already was. The first shows they were distributing.
Right. And I believe she was it's an organization called National Network of Abortion Funds. And her management caved to right-wing evangelical lunatics. I think it was in Missouri. And her management caved.
Well, don't say. I hate when you say it like that, though. Like when we say that they cave, right? Because she is a pop star. She's trying to bring awareness to something, and it's like that kind of pressure. It's.
Okay, here's something that Republicans and men may not understand. Okay, here's where babies come from. People have sex, and then the sperm hits the egg, and if it's the right time of the month and you're the right age, baby come. And the way to stop the baby from coming, no pun intended, is to use birth control.
But as you can see, there's been an assault on birth control for years.
Which is not for years.
No, well, actually for years, because before they really got abortion turned, they were fighting birth control in a lot of different states. And, and I'm like, so...
You don't want women to have abortions, but you don't want women to have abortions.
So
what do you want? I mean, what do you want us to do?
I think they just, you know what I think? I think they want you guys pregnant and at home.
Well, yeah,
just
obviously.
Barefoot, pregnant, and at home.
And maybe they'll let us wear shoes. But I am using the word cave because I think she has enough power to fight. It's just very sad because we can both remember during the first years of the AIDS epidemic, you would go to shows and GMHC would be out there distributing condoms. I mean, it just infuriates me.
It was a different time.
Right, but it infuriates me because this is healthcare, for Christ's sakes. This is healthcare. This is not making a political statement. The majority of this
turned healthcare into a political statement.
Yes, and the majority of this country is in favor of contraception. This is insanity. This is insanity.
Do you know what's really crazy about it to me, not to cut you off?
Yeah.
That all of the pressure falls on women. You
of
know,
course.
It's like, okay, so if you're making these laws, but you're not making the laws that automatically say to the men, well, if you get women pregnant, you automatically are responsible for 50% of this kid. Yeah, it's just kind of like, well, ladies, if you get pregnant, you have to have a baby. Oh, well, we can't get, and what the excuse was, they were uncomfortable because what if a little kid got one of the packets that was being handed out and little kids could get it? And I'm always like, that's always your reasoning.
Kids can't get pregnant.
But my thing is, that's always your reason. You guys don't give a fuck about kids. Stop acting like you care about kids. You don't care about women. You don't care about the kids when they're here. You don't care about the kids when they're being shot up in school. You don't care about the fact that these kids are in school and they cannot read. You don't care when you're changing history and trying to lie to them. You don't care about kids. And you really, like, we've seen it with the attacks on the healthcare for transgender people and transgender children. And we're seeing it now with women. It's like, what is the end game? Like, certain states are trying to pass these laws about if you have fertilized embryos, you can get child support, just crazy
madness. Which is why I say she caved, and I'm going to stick to that. Or her management caved. And I think she has the power.
She's a young pop star. There's not that much power. And the truth of the matter is, you say caved, but it's like you can, but the truth of the matter is, people's careers do take a hit. They can get blocked and banned from places. And a lot of those people are her audience. And the truth of the matter is, she's not an activist. She's a pop star and she's trying to bring light to something. And you know what? Those fights are really big fights. And we've seen what happens to people when they are putting their career on the line, trying to fight for something, and people squash them out, you know? So the group is still able to go to all of the shows, and they are still there, and they're still handing out information. They just can't hand out the actual contraceptives anymore. I think in certain states.
I say cave.
I say, well, you know, it's easy to say that when you don't have to make the choice. But that's my opinion. It is very easy to say that when you have
I do think she's big enough. Look, she is an activist in that she invited them. Look, hopefully it'll work out, but I think that
they're still there. They're still on all the tour dates. They just can't hand out the contraception.
I hope, when your 15-year-old gets knocked up, you can.
Well, we've already been seeing that, right? And we're seeing young women now. We're seeing families having to fight to take their kids to other states and try to get abortions. In states like New York, where it's legal, we're seeing backlogs because women and young women are coming here from other states to have procedures that they can't have done at home.
I'm going to make a very bold statement, and I'm not attacking you. This is not even a conversation that men should have in their mouth.
It's very odd to me.
It's like me saying, I want to regulate prostate cancer checkup. Right. It's not, and I'm not saying this to be dogmatic. It's none of, I'm not, I am saying this as a mother and as someone who has had abortions and as abortion and someone who has used birth control in the past. It's not your conversation. Not you. I don't mean you. I
know exactly. I find it the weirdest thing on the planet when I'm watching and I'm seeing these old men yelling about, I don't believe in abortion. I'm like, you will never have to make that decision in your life. You will never have. And even the women who say that, well, I believe in the sanctity. then you don't have. I have never seen the way they frame this is like they're standing outside of abortion clinics with bazookas for every woman who walks by, being like,
they don't even have to do that anymore.
I smell a fetus. Come in here and have an abortion.
No, they don't even have to do that anymore.
No one forces you to have an abortion.
No, they don't even have to do that anymore. They can just pass legislation. Anyway, speaking of abortion, because I love to talk about it all the time, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who really should have retired before when Obama was in office. But that's another conversation.
I didn't realize how much until recently. A friend called me about something that happened this week with someone that they worked with around Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and that people are very upset with her that she did not retire because they were trying to get her to retire during Obama's presidency, and she didn't. But
she didn't. She is a hero. She was an advocate for pro-choice, and her family and a foundation has an award to celebrate her legacy, which was that of equality, of women's rights, of civil rights. So the organization has, over the past couple of years, I'd never heard of this organization beforehand, but there's lots of things I haven't heard of, gave out awards to notable people who would, in theory, who have carried on the legacy of her work. This year, for reasons nobody can figure out, among the honorees is that noted progressive activist Sylvester Stallone. What the hell is he? What? Because when I think of progressive politics, I think of Sylvester Stallone. Martha Stewart, okay, she's okay, I guess, but not really. And Elon Musk and Rupert Murdoch, who are literally the antichrist when it comes to progressive politics. Literally anti-women, anti-gay rights, anti-everything. So the family, her Bader, because she does have kids and nieces and nephews, were like, what are you talking? This is insanity. This would be like the American Defamation League giving an award to Trump. Okay. I mean, it's like insanity. So, of course, they decided to cancel the thing when a famous person said something, but that's fine because she had received the award. So Barbara Streisand wrote an Instagram post and now the whole thing is canceled. And hopefully they just can't. How did it get to a point? Who the hell is sitting in a room going, human rights, civil rights, women's rights? Elon Musk. Yeah, that's the guy I'm going to give the award to. Elon Musk. The worst person in the world.
You know what? When I first saw that it was him and Rupert Murdoch were among the recipients, I thought it was like an article for like The Onion. We get all of these sort of parody sites. I was like, satire. Well, clearly that's not real. Really? Yeah. And then it was like, oh, that's real?
I know. It's like, I thought so too. I think I was like, really? Like, was Hitler was
I guess he wasn't available.
I guess he's dead. Was Kevin McCarthy or Mitch? Yeah, it's bananas. Anyway, the whole thing's been shut down, and either they rearrange it and take more control over it for next year, or just get rid of it and just silently make a contribution.
That the person there's a woman who's the head of that committee. I have a feeling
gone.
Next year she won't
she's
be
gone.
that. Like,
yeah, she's gone.
That to me was just kind of
dumb.
So are we going to ignore the whole how Fox TV was run and how all of those women were treated and all of these things? Like, what are you talking about? Well, yes, because there was a scandal with all of the things. So that was the first thing when Rupert Murdoch's name came to mind. I was like, all of those women, high profile women that left there, and all of those stories that came out, and all of the sexism and the horribleness that was going on. And you picked him?
And Elon Musk, who's scum of the universe. And,
again, apartheid South Africa. That's how I think about him.
Well,
that's where he was raised.
I know, but so was Charlize Theron.
Yes, but
it is in his DNA.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't throw one for the other. Like, he, to me, still embodies that sort of energy.
You ever read about his family background? It's actually really interesting.
And it's very fake, that thing where he tries to talk about, I believe in free speech, because he doesn't. He believes in free speech as long as you're saying what he agrees with, because the minute you don't.
Sorry, my cat is doing what she always does when I have a thumbtack up. I had the audacity to put something with a thumbtack, and now she's attacking the thumbtack to make sure it doesn't get away. Anyway, Elon Musk and America's second worst human being, Don Lemon. Okay, I have to kind of admit, back in the day, the Sex Pistols would kind of sign record deals knowing they were going to get kicked off and then just collect the money. So I gotta admire Don Lemon's household, because for a marginally talented journalist, this is a huge cause. He's not a journalist. He's an anchor. He's managed to like collect a lot of money for being like, woe is me. So he signs a deal with whatever, X, and does an interview with Elon Musk, who's doing it, he claims. Elon Musk is claiming he's doing it to promote the show. And Kel's surprise, Elon Musk doesn't want to answer certain questions. And then Don Lemon gets fired. He'll still get the check, right?
Well, now he's, that's the they got that legal side and they're fighting back and forth. And I believe Elon Musk is like Donald Trump. He's not going to pay it.
No, of course not.
Not going to pay it. The ex-Twitter employees are fighting for their compensation that he hasn't paid. He's not going to pay it.
But my question is, and I keep, oh God, this cat is out of control. My question is always this: where, come on, man, where are these people's morals? Not Elon Musk. Don't talk. We all know Don Lemon is an asshole. Not allegedly. He is an asshole. He got fired from CNN for the ridiculous comments he made about women. He's not a journalist. He's entertaining. He's kind of a shock jock, or a benign shock jock. What do you expect when you get into bed with Elon Musk? What do you really expect? This is the man who's giving Tucker Carlson a mouthpiece. So for Don Lemon to be, I don't know nothing about birth and babies. I don't know how this could possibly have happened. Why are these people getting into bed with these people? I really honestly don't understand. And he has power. There's got to be some knucklehead somewhere who wants to, and he's still like coasting off that CNN severance, isn't he?
Let me just say this.
Right? Seriously, I'm not saying it's like he's going to go from like stupid situation to stupid situation.
This to me do you want to know why this is a sad situation? Because when Don Lemon first started at CNN, I really liked him.
I did too.
He was the weekend night anchor.
I liked
CNN
him.
had I used to call it the black weekends.
What's his face who got fired from Good Morning America?
Right. Frederica, it would be TJ Holmes in the morning.
Right.
And he was there and then in the afternoons was Frederica Whitfield, who's still on. I believe she's still there. Yeah. Frederica Whitfield. And then the nighttime anchor on Saturday Sundays was Don Lemon. And it was great. He was great. And then I used to watch his show when it first started, but then it started to change, right? As he got a little more popular, I was like, this is getting weird. Yeah. So he gets booted out of CNN. Your first thing back is you announce you're going to have this show. It's going to be online in all of these spaces, and it's going to premiere on X, and then it's going to be on YouTube and other platforms. And then I was like, why are you doing a deal with Elon Musk? This guy is kind of the worst. I can't believe that you would do a deal with him. So then it falls apart, and Don is on full court press. Your first place back is, let me go do an interview with CNN. The place that gave me their ass to kiss.
He's horrible.
Dragged you through it. And you come running back there. And I was like, okay, more respect for you, Laws. Oh, then you're on The View. I was like, oh.
No, you're talking about being victim.
It's
really.
Like, honestly, you're not a sympathetic character. This seemed like a bad idea from the first place. You got in bed with a snake and the snake bit you. Right. What did you expect to happen?
I think he expected exactly this, and he's going to like want all the way to the bank. Really. I really do think this was kind of a setup on his part. I'm not trying to be conspiratorial.
No, and I get that, and it maybe it is. But the second part of that is, now I look at him and I'm like, you've gone from unlikable to supremely unlikable. Yeah. Even me, a person who doesn't all the way hate you, was just like, oh, God, what?
He's sort of like, he's really just completely. He is, watch this segue. This is a good one, considering that I'm still jet lagged. Mm-hmm. I'm still jet lagged. It's ridiculous. He's sort of the Justin Timberlake of network news.
He is sort of you still have a name, But there's completely no self-awareness attached to that name.
No. And wait, oh, by the way, and then we'll get into it. I didn't know Justin Timberlake had 2 kids. When did she pop out another one?
Years ago. Yeah,
they have 2?
Yeah, they've had 2 kids for a while.
All right, I don't pay attention to it. All right, so there was a really great article in Variety by the really great writer Jem Aswad about, it's sort of a think piece, and we've discussed this sort of stuff before, like what's the shelf life for artists over a certain age in a certain genre. Rock stars, we already know. I mean, Nick Cave is at his height, you could argue, and he's got to be close to 65, if not older.
Right.
I mean, and he's literally at his commercial height in terms of selling out arenas. And,
look at the Stones. Like with rock bands, it's different. Yeah, it's a different thing.
Yeah, I'm sure if Prince were still alive, nobody'd be questioning like, oh, he's too old or something like that. We've always known pop acts, a certain type of pop act is more age defined, especially if their whole kind of, if it involves dancing. And if it's sort of stuff that has a more youthful appeal, and we've already discussed, we don't, that women get hit with a certain brush. Both Justin Timberlake and Jennifer Lopez have released, I don't have the same animus towards her that you do. I really don't. I don't feel, I really don't. Because you can't champion marginal singing and great production and hate her that much. But I understand. But and she has had hits over 50 because her stuff she did with Pitbull and all this stuff, that was club hits over a certain age. But she has saturated the market. So she put out a record. He put out a record. His is actually really a comeback because he hasn't been heard from since his last record tanked, when he went all sensitive in country and wearing flannel shirts. And his record is getting mixed reviews. The Times kind of gave it it's okay. Her record got mixed reviews, but 5 dates of her tour have been canceled. Let's see what happens when she gets to her market, which would be Florida, right? Would be Florida, New York.
Well, New York, they added an extra show. Here's the thing.
But anyway, I was going to say the point of the article is sort of like this look about at what point do they, at what point is it like it's not believable anymore? And certainly with Timberlake, if he's a happily married man with 2 kids singing about, I'm going to do you up in the club. I'm like, really?
But I don't even think that that's the problem with it being believable. I think that I listened to the record. It's boring.
Yeah.
It's boring. You know what I mean? It's like you, again, with your version of R&B that you're doing, and he has a personality conflict. People don't like him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that I don't think you need to come back and humble yourself. I don't believe you have to do that. But when he came back and he showed that he's kind of still a dick, it's hard for people to root for that.
Yeah.
And then when he came back with NSYNC on stage, it seemed very underwhelming. And if I could be honest with you, it just kind of looked like 5 old guys on stage. And I'm an old guy. I can say that. It didn't have the energy or the excitement of, I just think that NSYNC fan is really grown. It has not trickled down to the younger generation, and they don't care about him.
They don't. I will say that people, and there are many artists we can say this about in terms of the shelf life. Okay. Mm-hmm. I will say that people sort of, he's never made good music. I'm sorry. Future
That's not true.
That second album is really a seriously great record, and it holds up. But
and the first album was a good album.
It's a good album, but and that's Timberlake, it depends on who he's working with. He's not the best singer, but that's never really marked. But yeah, he has never recovered for what he did with Janet Jackson. He lost Black America.
He lost me. That was it.
He lost me.
And here's the thing about Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
We didn't ever really take her seriously as a singer. She had a moment with hot songs in the late 90s, early aughts, right? It was a moment of J-Lo, but we liked her because she was the actress who also had this pop moment. She decided she was really still a singer and kept going and made a record to me that was very dated.
Yeah.
And it was a 5-pronged attack, right? There was a record, there was a visual album, and there was also a documentary on the making of the visual album that no one asked for and no one cared. The music just sounded old and no one cared. You know, no one asked for a new Jennifer Lopez album. No one asked for a Jennifer Lopez tour, not trying to be rude or be disrespectful. I just think that you were a better actor, like you should be killing it as an actor. You were not this vocalist who blew the house down, and the style of music that you did was momentary and you had a great moment with it. But the truth of the matter is, when you go see her, we're all just waiting for tonight. You know what I mean? And I have a couple of her albums, but it just felt like the thing that no one asked for. You know, so not trying to be disrespectful to her, because I know there are people who absolutely love her.
But would you say that if she were 35, if she had kind of fallen off?
Yes.
Okay. So I think that's the issue. It's not the age issue with her, because she looks phenomenal.
Absolutely.
She can still turn it out. Her Super Bowl performance with Shakira
absolutely
was great.
Fantastic.
So I think it's more like you're oversaturated, Mark. You've got 2 documentaries and We're kind of tired of you in that sense. So I really think that's more the issue. I think with Justin Timberlake, it's a combination like, we really don't care about you anymore. You have overstepped the line. And we're now talking Justin Timberlake 3 albums past his 2 best albums.
And here's the thing. If Justin had come back and his album was spectacular.
Or just good.
I think the conversation could have been a little different. Like, okay, but you know what? His guts are in this record. You know what I mean? I'm listening to this and I feel something. Yeah. But it's just kind of like, okay, Anne.
Yeah, he's never been, listen, he's not a great singer. He's not an appealing person. I understand why he's popular. He's not the first white guy to kind of glom onto black music. I guess in his defense, he was raised in the South, blah, 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 blah. But he's just not appealing. I mean, there are many great. It's like Robin Thicke. Robin Thicke's never going to come back. He's not an appealing character. Lawsuit or not, Robin Thicke is just kind of an oily weirdo at this point. There are tons of white guys who can sing, who are influenced by black music. So I think Justin Timberlake, I think the record, it's done. It's not. But I mean, the bigger conversation is one that Variety was trying to raise. And it is a valid conversation. We've had it. You know, we'll see what happens. Yeah, Beyonce has let's see what happens when this record drops.
Well, listen, this was
horrible title. Horrible title. Horrible graphics. Sorry, we'll discuss it when we have Charles.
I gotta say, I was like, oh, okay.
No.
I mean, and it does. Okay, I will say this.
But she's doing well so far. Obviously.
Yeah, she's doing well. And Kylie Minogue is probably having one of the best years of her career at 55, right? And finally having a mainstream success. So I do think there is a case-by-case basis, but Kylie's like a uniform. I think that you and I have talked about this. She's got so much goodwill all over the world. People like her. And they want her to win. So she's kind of an exception at 55, having this finally like a real US hit again and a worldwide hit, and she's back in the studio because you got to ride that wave. But you and I have said this. That goodwill goes a long way with her because people want Kylie Minogue to win. You know, they do. And on that, let's take a commercial break and we'll be right back.
Hey, Pantheon listeners. Christian Swain here, taking a break from listening to a little Shouted Out Loudcast episode. Love Tom and Zeus talking all things Kiss. Of course, I was listening to them on my new Raycon wireless earbuds. They have quickly become my go-to earbuds because of the comfort. These soft tips are the best I've ever used. And at this price, plus a Pantheon discount, Raycon is really hitting on all marks. Sound quality is great too. I really love having these 3 EQ options because I like more bass in the music, but less in my podcast. 8 hours of playtime for the battery is great as well. Surround sound, noise isolating, and awareness mode are all included. These are great earbuds. Go to buyraycon.com/Pantheon today to get 20% off your Raycom order plus free shipping. That's right. You'll get 20% off and free shipping at buyraycon.com/Pantheon. buyraycon.com/Pantheon. Hey, Pantheon listeners, Christian Swain here. Another day, another podcast I'm working on. This time, it's Famous and Gravy with Amit and Michael. I want to let you know that I loved the Factor Meals package so much that I re-upped for myself, and then I sent a package to my in-laws. Like I was with my first shipment from Factor Meals, the in-laws were as excited to try one of the prepared restaurant quality meals. Well, they got the shipment to Protein Plus meal plan and were very impressed. See, being in their 80s, anything to make the meal prep easy is a plus for them. They heated the oven per instructions and minutes later were enjoying a very delicious, nutritious, and dietitian-approved meal. One big win for me. But what really floored them was the taste. Like I told you, it's surprising how good these meals taste. Restaurant quality indeed. And like my own shipment, it really was everything Factor Meals said it would be for some seniors. No prep, no mess meals. Factor Meals are 100% ready to heat and eat. Take it from me and my in-laws. Head to factormeals.com/Pantheon50 and use the code Pantheon50 to get 50% off. That's factormeals.com/Pantheon50 and use the code Pantheon50 to get 50% off. Thank you, Factor Meals.
Hey folks, Stefan Shirazi and Renee Richardson here from the Metallica Report.
And we are proud members of the Pantheon Podcast family, where the best of music and podcasts unite.
We've got something pretty cool for you. We're giving away an exclusive Metallica merch package worth over $250.
That's a whole lot of Scary Guys, Skulls, M72, and other sought-after Metallica swag. And we've made it easy for you to win. Follow and share the Metallica Report, and you're in the game. Go to pantheonpodcast.com/Metallica, enter your email, and hit that button to be entered to win.
And just like that, you're eligible for our monthly exclusive Metallica merch package.
And guess what, rockers? You can enter every month, so just do it. And while we love our global brothers and sisters, the lawyers won't let us ship outside the U.S.
And we're back.
All right. Well, speaking of old broads that we care about, really. So at the Grammys, Wendy and Lisa, I love Wendy and Lisa. We all love Wendy and Lisa. Girl Brothers is one of my favorite records that they did.
Brilliant record.
It's a brilliant record, right? And I saw them at Arlene Grocery performing that record.
See, I saw them when they toured. I saw them when they toured for Fruit at the Bottom.
Okay, they're brilliant. And for those of you who are playing our at-home version, they were part of the revolution. And in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, we're more responsible for that work than.
And that album is titled under Girl Bros, and it is an album about loss. Was it Wendy's brother? Wendy's brother was the keyboard player for Smashing Pumpkins, right? And died. She comes from a musical. They both come from musical families. Anyway, they backed up Annie Lennox at the Grammys during the memoriam thing, where Annie Lennox sang "Nothing Compares to You," which of course is a Prince composition, which more than likely, Wendy and Lisa have played before. Annie Lennox has not put out a record since 2017, I think. Yeah, it's been a minute.
And still sounds great because she's Annie Lennox. Wendy and Lisa, they're musicians, so there's an age factor doesn't factor into it because they're playing music. So at PopCon last week, they during the keynote address, they said that they are working with Annie Lennox. Nothing has been set in stone yet, but they are working with Annie Lennox. They kind of teased and said it's like it's a group. They referred to it as a band. They, like the new Eurythmics type of thing. And that would just be fascinating. That would just be fascinating because first off, Annie Lennox could sing the phone book, but luckily with Wendy and Lisa, she wouldn't have to sing the phone book because they're great songwriters and great musicians. And I just think that I was so happy to say just the thought of it.
Of that is like, ooh,
no, it's Christmas it's Christmas in whatever.
I want the
March.
fruit from that tree.
No. And just even seeing them together on the Grammys was like, this is why I pay attention to this stupid award show.
Right.
Because, oh my God, whoever decided to do this was actually thinking musically as opposed to star power.
Right.
You know, because they didn't introduce Wendy and Lisa on the Grammys.
No.
They were just there. So people who know went, oh my God, it's Wendy and Lisa. So that would just be, whatever happens with it, that would just be great. That would just be amazing.
Fantastic. It would be really fantastic.
No, and so fingers crossed. All right. I'm trying to think if we can do a drinking game, except I don't drink, where you don't mention Madonna on the show, but I guess this one, I will hand it to you. I was in France in a croissant coma. You, on the other hand, went to a gay coma. So discuss.
I'm minding my own business at home. You know what I'm saying? Just minding my own business, giving myself a facial and a pedicure. And I'm looking online. And I'm like, oh, look, footage from Madonna's show in LA. And she's like, oh, I'm going to bring somebody on stage. I'm like, oh, she's bringing a guest up. And she said, this lady is named Kylie Minogue. And I was like, is there a drag queen about to come on stage about to pretend to be Kylie Minogue?
There would be Miley Cano.
And I'm thinking, and then I look and I'm like, I think I'm on the floor. I think I died.
No, I heard the thump 5 hours in the 5 hour time.
Madonna and Kylie Minogue are on stage singing I Will Survive.
Oh, no. Oh, really?
Yes, because Madonna sings out, she plays the guitar and sings a slowed down version of I Will Survive in her show, where she's talking, it's in the part after she's talking, and she's talking about almost dying and what happened to her and being in ICU. And then, and Kylie's a breast cancer survivor. And it was on Women's History Day. During Women's History Month, there's also a day, and it was the actual day in the month, which is why I'm saying it was the day.
I know. The day.
She came out and they sang, and then they sang an a cappella portion of "Can't Get You Out of My Head," and it was just like the gay-tastic explosion that we all need.
No, all you needed was like show tunes.
You know what I mean? It's like, it just was everything that my little gay heart needed.
No, I could hear it. I could hear it go thump, 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 explode down. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I heard it all the way from the France. And yay. I'm surprised that Madonna would do that, since she's not known for her generosity, is she? But I guess she's a born again human now.
And everybody likes Kylie Minogue.
Which is all the more reason why she wouldn't bring her out.
But she likes Kylie Minogue.
Oh, good. That's good.
Remember years ago during her music concert tour, she did a promo date and she wore a Kylie Minogue t-shirt.
Oddly enough, I don't remember that.
Yeah. Well, she did, which is why when Kylie came out, she had a version of the outfit that Madonna wore.
That's cute.
When Madonna wore the Kylie Minogue t-shirt.
That's cute. Mm-hmm. Well, yay.
We like to see our divas getting along.
Well, I guess, yes. I guess that makes up for everything horrible that's happening to gay people around the world. That's your gift.
Well, listen, it's a little bit of sprinkle magic on the top of all of the horrible shit that's happening to gay people around the world.
I will say, if I can be slightly argumentative or something for a second, I mean, I understand why she brought her out, but like, once again, like, the gays it's Women's History Month, for God's sake. Can't we just no, but it's great. Yay. They're recording. Are they recording? No, they're not recording.
No, they're not recording.
They're not recording. It's just a one-off, and it's fun. Good. I'm glad everybody's getting along and everybody's sharing their toys, and that's good.
Kylie is recording, like what she said, and she was like, listen, I've worked really a long time. I understand that when you have these waves, you have to ride them. So she's absolutely, yeah. And if she's smart, she'll have a new single out this summer and a new album out by the fall. It's like, if you're having the moment, take the moment.
Especially. All right, so this is a woman that I had never heard of before, Aya Nakamura, who is a Malian French singer. I'd never heard of her before, and I like to pay attention, as we both do, to international stars. But she's she's hugely popular in France and in Francophone countries. Gorgeous, great stuff. I went on Spotify and listened to her stuff. It's really, really good stuff. It's kind of dance, Afrobeat. When did they add the S to Afrobeat, by the way? When did
because there's Afrobeat and there's Afrobeats, and I guess Afrobeats is the hip hop version,
the newer version,
and
right?
We have to stop calling every piece of music that comes from Africa is not Afrobeat. Some is R&B, some is alternative. Right. As soon as it comes from Africa, they're like Afrobeats. It's like, no.
Yeah, she does have that, and she has a hit. Anyway, her stuff is really good, and if you haven't heard her before, I think that you would like her. Anyway, she had been, the Olympics are going to be in Paris this summer, which will be a clusterfuck. And
she's been asked to sing
She's been asked to sing at the opening ceremonies, and Kel Surprise, the right wing, much as they do in this country, are like, she's not French, which of course she is. She is a French citizen. She speaks the French.
They don't like the version of French that she speaks.
No, of course. No. I know why. I mean, I know exactly why they're coming out. But
but I'm saying it for our audience who might not have heard of her. What's one of the things that they're lobbying against her?
Well, she's black. Let's just start with that.
She's black. Let's start with that. And the thing is, when they say that she's the biggest selling female artist,
I already Googled that.
Well, and what the difference is because I was like, well, wait a minute. Mylène Farmer in France, but Mylène Farmer is in France. She evidently is world. They always say that she's got all parts of the world. I'd never heard of her.
Me neither.
But evidently she has a huge worldwide audience. Yeah. So that's why they count her as that.
So anyway, the right wing is freaking out because, even though the people, most of the black folks are from the Antilles or from North Africa or from former colonies. If you don't want these people to move to a country, maybe you shouldn't have colonized them 100 years ago. All right?
Welcome here. We've taken over your country, but don't come here.
We've taken over your country and forced our religion and language down your throat. So they do come to France and other parts of France, and they are coming from French-speaking countries. So there is more of a, no pun intended, integration into society. But the point being is she's a huge star. France, like most of Europe, is a multicultural place. The kids will love it. Everybody love it. It's probably 5, Marie Le Pen screaming and yelling in their basement. And, Macron has said, yeah, fuck you, she's going to perform. I mean, basically, like, fuck you, she's going to report. And if nothing else, I hope this gets people to listen to her because she is really, really good. I mean, the production is great. She's really, really good. So, more people freaking out about the browning of their countries, and it's, like I said, if you didn't want them to come, you shouldn't have taken over their countries in the first place and just left them the hell alone. I'm just saying, leave them the hell alone and they'll stay in their perfectly nice countries having perfectly nice lives.
Can't have it both ways.
You can't say we're going to take over your country and, like I said, shove our religion,
make you all speak French and then be like, we don't like the version of French that you're speaking.
Well, the French are ridiculous about that anyway, because I have a friend of mine, not the friend I was saying with, who has lived in Paris for 45 years. I mean, he's lived in Paris longer than anywhere else. And they still they're very like about it. And if you go to other parts of France, like the south of France, their version of French is like more of a Spanish influence. And the Parisian French are like, that's not French. So, that's like the French. They're like, that's not French. What's really cool about France? And then we'll move on. Had I a press card, which I do not have, they let journalists into free to all museums. How about that? They value journalism, whereas this country, they're trying to throw people into jail. I just lost our rundown because I think I need a new iPad. All right. in today, am I like a horrible human being that I don't give a damn where Kate Middleton is? What's Kate Middleton?
No, because I don't give two flying fucks.
Oh, then like, can we just skip it? She auto. What did she? I didn't even notice the picture was auto tuned or whatever. What's it called? Photoshopped. Auto tuned. I didn't even notice that because I don't sit there. I mean, what was all right? So she had surgery, right? Abdominal surgery. Clearly not weight loss surgery because she's like tiny. None of our business what's wrong with her. She's not an elected official. See, that's what I don't get. If she were the vice president of England or the vice president of any place, I can understand people freaking out like, oh my God, who's in control? She kind of has a ceremonial position, right? Like she's like on the bench, right? Until Camilla and Charles croak, right? So she's on the bench. Not that her life has any less value. So she has the surgery. They're quiet about it, as is their want. It's nobody's business. And then, oh my God, where's Kate? Oh my God, look at that picture. It's not really her. And now it's like, it was on the real news in this country. Are we so, like, there are two wars going on. Democracy is in peril. We have lunatics running the asylum. And this, I don't get it. I was actually praying that we didn't have to talk about it. But
it's dumb. I just find it, to me, and then we can move on. I find it really interesting how I'm seeing, you know, because I read a lot of the British press and watch British TV shows, and it's really interesting how they're all like, she deserves privacy, give them their privacy. I'm like, interesting how you guys think that privacy is okay for one. But then when someone else was having sort of a breakdown and they asked for privacy, you're like, how dare you? The job is to come and stand in front of us. You don't get to ask for privacy. I think it's different with medical.
I think it is different. I'm sorry. I'm going to draw a line.
No, I'm not going to
medical stuff.
Well, if somebody is saying they're having mental health shit, that is medical. And you know what I mean? You can't say no. That is
I can
mental
say
health.
Whatever I want.
Mental health and people having mental health issues is medical. But the truth of the matter is there is a difference between how Black people and white people are treated in the press and the way that was handled. As a Black person, a lot of it felt familiar. You know what I mean? And how we're treated in certain situations, and how there's a grace that I feel like is not given to us.
I want it on the record because I will not let this stand that I am questioning whether mental health is medical. I am very aware of that. I have dealt with it in my family, in my friends, as we all are. I just think that I don't care about either one of these bitches. I really don't. I really don't. I hope she's healthy. I hope everything's okay. I'd like to know why Meghan Markle was at South by Southwest. When did South by Southwest become a place for like an ex-princess, or why South by Southwest had sponsorship from the Army?
Well, it's different now. Remember, when I used to go to South by Southwest, it was like a college radio.
Right, or Americana,
and alternative music. And there wasn't even a bunch of rap. The one rap showcase.
There wasn't.
I worked at Columbia when I first started going. And the one rap showcase, we used to have it. It was the last show at La Zona Rosa, and it was always Cypress Hill. Cypress Hill.
Who kind of have a real white.
And they were like that college rap act and this is back when college radio and all of those things were huge. And the La Zona Rosa night was that one rap night.
I've never been to South by
Southwest. But now it's a big technology. Movies red carpets, movies are premiering there, sponsorships from everywhere. It's a whole.
You know, all the Irish acts boycotted South by Southwest because of the sponsorship from the Army.
Oh, really?
Yes, every Irish act said we're not going to perform because of the sponsorship that the Army had. The U.S. Army had some sort of presence at this thing. So good for them. Ireland, baby, they're ruling the world right now. They got the hottest actors, and yay, Ireland! I always had kind of a thing for Irish guys, I have to admit. All right, so we're both people who listen to a ton of music, obviously. And every once in a while, and this is pre-streaming, okay? This is both when we were both, you know, you were working at a label and I was writing about music. There's so much stuff released. We were just aware of it in a different way. And every once in a while, so lately on social media, I started seeing people I know, British no, not just British people, but people I know posting sort of, prayers for Angela McCluskey. Think about our friend Angela McCluskey. And I knew the name Angela McCluskey. I knew she was a singer. I knew who she was, but I'd never heard her to the best of my knowledge. So Angela McCluskey was a solo. She passed a couple of days ago, was a solo artist, she's Scottish. She'd lived in the United States for years, and she was the lead singer in a group that was on Geffen, but I'm sure they never sent me the records because they didn't think I'd listen to them, for Wild Colonials. Do you remember that group at all? Do you remember that name? I think they were sort of a collective of musicians, but very well regarded, critically acclaimed. Anyway, she passed. And so there have been a lot of postings from certain people I know in the industry. And I went to listen to her, not even went back to listen to her. You'd love her, Courtney.
Really? So I should check her out.
Beautiful voice. I mean, I don't know how to define. I mean, she just has a great. And then she had a solo career. She had a hit with this song called "Breathe" with this group called Telepop. It was like a club hit. You probably know her through Telepopnik or something, a French group, and it was probably during that whole French house period. Remember that?
I'll go back and check it out.
And Air and Phoenix and that whole. Anyway, really great voice, really powerful. If I'm kind of thinking how to compare it, it's sort of like if Alison Moyet was sort of more influenced by Americana country. I don't know, great voice. So it's, she passed away, but this is the internet being used for good, I guess, instead of evil. And this is why streaming is one of the good things about it, is that you can hear this and go, okay, now I'm going to go check her out. So she passed away. But I do recommend people listen to her. And I'm really glad. Not really glad she died, obviously, but I'm really glad people talked about her, because I was like, remember how it was back in the old days where somebody would mention something, you do the research and try to find out who they are, as opposed to just going, oh, and leaving it at that.
Right.
Yeah, like, oh, let me find out who this woman is. Anyway, so really, really good. She passed away. And then Eric Carmen, who I'm sure everybody knows from the Raspberries.
Or Hungry Eyes.
Or
the original version of All By Myself.
Was that the same as Gilbert O'Sullivan's All By Myself? I think it's a different song.
No, the one that Celine Dion really has made famous. Also, they both had it.
Not the Gilbert O'Sullivan. That's Gilbert O'Sullivan.
It is?
Yeah. The one that Biz Markie got sued over?
Is that what he got sued over?
Yeah. That was
Don't want to be all by myself anymore. Wait, that wasn't Eric Carmen? He wasn't the original singer of that song?
No, it's, as far as I know, it's Gilbert O'Sullivan, but I could be wrong, but I think it was Gilbert O'Sullivan. Or maybe it's Alone Again Naturally.
Yeah, that's what he got sued. Yeah, because I thought Eric Carmen was originally All By Myself.
Let's Google it. Well, anyway, Eric Carmen, if you're into power pop, which I do enjoy, power pop, the Raspberries out of Cleveland. I'm Googling it right. Okay, All By Myself. Get this writing credit. You ready for this? Eric Carmen and Sergei Rachmaninoff.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I'm sorry. I really did think it was I'm Alone Again, all but yeah. Anyway, great song. Rachmaninoff, known for his pop hits. Anyway, Eric Carmen, the Raspberries Go All the Way, which as a kid used to kind of embarrass me because I'm like, what are they going all the way to? Ew, it's about sex. Unfortunately, Eric Carmen turned out to be a miserable, horrible, MAGA, conspiracy-loving human being. But huge hit. Hungry Eyes is a huge hit from Dirty Dancing. Go All the Way is a great power pop song. They're credited for being one of the biggest power pop artists ever. So miserable person, great music. And then Boss died.
Wasn't she the first
female rapper on Def Jam? So didn't have a big career, but certainly was certainly like of her time. And so that's always, but like I said, the great thing is that you can go back and listen to these people music. And I would certainly no disrespect to Eric Carmen, but because he had big hits, people know who he is. But I would really recommend listening to Angela McCluskey. Really, really good. What are you listening to of people that are alive?
Of people that are alive, I like to say, I actually, I'm back to trying to listen to all of the records that are coming out because I've gotten a little lazy with that. So I listened to Ariana a couple of times.
How is it?
It's one of her.
It's an Ariana Grande record. Right?
One of her mellower records. It's not full of like big bangers, and it's fine. She sounds pretty on it. Deeper Well by Casey Musgraves. I've been listening.
I started listening to that. Now, what do you think about that?
It's really interesting because it's a very pretty record. right?
She has a very pretty voice.
And it's not her most complex record in terms of her songwriting, but I do think that it is just showing a woman at a certain place, because the last few records have been about divorce and all of those.
The first record was about marriage, the one that she won the Grammy, and then the second one was about divorce. This one seems to be a kind of breakup record in a way too.
Well, actually, to me, it seems more like a woman who's come to terms with her new life. And
isn't there a song about smoking? Like what's the line? I don't wake. I thought about you. I don't wake and bake.
Yeah, but it's a pretty record. It's a pretty record. It's a very mellow record. It really centers a lot on her voice, and I think it's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Is she still even really considered country anymore? Well, and I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that to be negative.
This to me is kind of a return back to her country roots more than the other records that really leaned a little bit in that pop direction. I'm also listening to this new artist out of the UK who put out a record last week named Katie Baser. It's called Still Learning, and I really, really like it. I think you would like it too.
Man or woman?
Woman. Katie Baser.
Katie, like Katie.
Caity.
Oh, all right. I love it.
And it's really good. I listened to the Justin album because I was like,
you had to, because somebody had to do it. Thank you for taking one for the team. I appreciate it.
I just, listen. Yeah. Whatever. I'm not a fan of his anymore, but I can listen to something objectively, and I just thought I found it boring.
Yeah. Well, that's been basically the reviews. It's basically been like, we're not taking anything away from you, but like at this point, like you're just,
I've been also back to listening to this black male country artist. His name is Willie Jones, and he had an album that he put out last June called June of 2023 called Something to Dance To. And his voice is just stunning. Stunning. And another one, Brittany Spencer, her album, My Stupid Life. She's a black female country artist. And she's just really great. So I've been kind of rocking those for the last few weeks.
I listened, as I said, because I started listening to Io Nakamura because it just sort of spurred me, to interest her. Andrew McCluskey, as I said. Because a lot of people I respect really have been writing great things about this artist. I listened to Hooray for the Riff Raff, which I always thought was a band, of course. It's a one person. I've never understood this whole idea of you're one person and you're performing as a alter ego, but that's fine. It's good. Not my thing necessarily, but not bad. And I want to I want to know what the kids are listening to. Right. But it's grown-up music. It's not kids music at all. And so I've just been sort of, I haven't listened to any of the big records yet because I haven't listened. I gotta be honest, I like the idea of an Ariana Grande more than I like Ariana Grande. I think she's a great singer.
That's how I feel about Megan Thee Stallion.
Yes, I like the idea. I want a world where these people exist. I want a world where these people exist.
I think your music sucks, but you're great.
You're great. And Ariana, I don't think her music sucks, but I just.
What do you think about these new Cardi B songs that have been dropping?
I haven't listened to. That's another person. I like the idea of her more than I
love the idea of her.
I love Cardi B as a human being, but I have to listen to it because I know.
I'm just kind of like.
Yeah, I'm not liking her new nose either. I don't like it when I see women going under. You can do whatever you want. It's your body. I love Cardi B as a human being. I think she's fantastic. I think she's fun. I think she's self-aware. Yeah, I wish I'm making, for those of you who are watching in audio only, I'm making the universal face. I just wish I cared more about her musically.
I know, me too.
I mean, that's why WAP was such oh my God, there's two people I love as women, and I'm not crazy about this song, but I had to defend it because everybody was coming. I just wish I cared about her, musically. And it's so funny because there's so many people who are musically great and I don't really care about them as people in a lot of ways, but the music is so good. Like, all right, I don't care. Like I can't think of anybody offhand, but usually you have to care about the person and the music in some way.
Yeah, kind of.
It's kind of like you can't watch an actor if you fundamentally don't care about them.
It's true.
You have to be invested in some way. So I don't. Yeah, you and I are on the same team with Megan and all It's like,
It's just
make
kinda
me
like-
care about you somehow, please.
It's like, I really love the idea of you. You're great.
I'm rooting for you. I am rooting for you.
Then the song starts and I'm like, oh, look, pizza. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh look, I found the dime on the
you know
floor.
what I'm saying? It's very that like, oh wait, let me start sweeping. I see some dust in that corner over there.
Oh my God. I went on a sweeping thing the other day also because I was gone and we have to wrap up because, I've lost now 2 earrings in my room.
Have you still not found that other earring?
I found one.
Okay.
I found one.
Because you were wearing that one
I was
when we were
wearing
taping the
it.
show and you
So
could
it
not
wasn't
find it.
Right. So it wasn't like I went outside and it popped out on my ear, which everybody who
So
wears
one
earrings
has
did.
made an appearance.
No, one made an appearance. I was just pulling everything apart.
Maybe the cat took it.
Yeah, I blame them for everything. But the thing is, when they take stuff, they like to bat it around the house to show you their dominance.
Right.
The other one, I was putting it in my ear as I was on the phone, as I was packing to go to France. And it's small, and I haven't Roomba'd with this one because I'm afraid. So I'm sweeping, it'll show up. But it's just hilarious that I'm losing things in my house. Like the voices are coming from inside the house.
They're definitely coming from inside the house because you're just like, I lost this. I'm like, where'd you go? You're like, nowhere.
Nowhere. I was sitting in a chair.
Down and next thing you know, I was like, my earring is
popped.
gone.
Okay, here's what happened. I took the headphones out.
Right.
It fell and it went under a piece of furniture directly behind me.
Right.
Because just to make me feel like I'm crazy because I'm sitting there going, oh my God, like it's your accessories are gaslighting me. And then you go, was I wearing that? And of course I was wearing it. I only have the other one. And Courtney, this was a big ass earring too.
I mean, listen.
This wasn't a stud. This was a ginormous
you're not
earring.
like me, you're not waking up and finding a pack of Girl Scout cookies next to you in the bed.
Well,
and it's like,
it could be worse. You could wake up and find a Girl Scout next to you in bed.
And then,
Thin Mints? There's only one Girl Scout cookie.
Well, no, I actually ate all the Thin Mints. I will admit to that. I don't know how that pack of Trefoils ended up in my bed.
Yeah, what are I don't enjoy. And they took one.
Shortbread cookies. I like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to, of course, as a former Girl Scout, I was a Girl Scout salesperson. They're like $5 a pop now.
Yeah.
Thank God. I'm really grateful. I don't have friends whose girls are in this because not for nothing. This is like buying wrapping paper.
And I think they're like $6 a pop now.
It's ridiculous. I did see something really funny, and then we should wrap. I did see once outside of a supermarket. These girls, outside. I think it was an article somewhere. These girls were selling the cookies outside of a weed dispensary,
which was really smart.
Really smart. That's actually they should be in charge of the economy.
I mean, that was really smart because listen. It'd be like, you got your snacks? Now come get some snacks.
No, I mean, Thin Mints are really one of the most extraordinary.
I keep them in the freezer.
Cookies. Oh, no, duh. Everything mint needs to be kept in a freezer.
Like those Andes candies that I love. And
and peppermint patties or whatever they're called. No, everything. Yeah, I ate a lot of cake in France, but it's in French. So
it doesn't count.
It doesn't count when
it really doesn't.
Courtney, you know damn well when you eat something in a foreign country,
it doesn't count. It really doesn't count
because it's metric or something like that.
It doesn't count.
All right, can you take us out of here, Sunshine?
You know what it is. It's ImmaLetYouFinish on the Pantheon Podcast Network. Catch us there. Catch us here. Catch us everywhere.
Catch us outside. What does that mean, catch us outside, by the way? Is that a bad thing? Catch me outside?
Well, it's usually when you're being like, when you use it, it depends on how you use it. It could be like, catch me outside. It could be like, we're going to fight.
Okay.
Catch me outside could be like, not now, let's later when we're doing whatever.
All right, I figured this is a safe space I can ask you because I had no idea. I didn't want to ask like one of my students in case it meant something.
You'd be like, I'd like to know.
Right. I don't want to
catch me outside.
But I also don't want to ask somebody in case it's like I didn't know what Netflix and chill meant and I made the mistake. Give me a break. Okay. I made the mistake.
Say it to? Who did
I asked a student. Yeah. I could have been fired, right?
What did they answer?
They just looked at me and went, and then they kind of started, never mind. Okay, got it.
You're like, is that like when me and my girlfriend are on the phone and we're watching 90 Day Fiancé
and talking?
Kinda,
except that if your clothes are off. Yeah. As soon as I asked, I knew I had done something really stupid. So that's why I'm asking you, because I don't want to ask anybody what something means if it's like I would never ask. Yeah, it's like the eggplant emoji. Right. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I know what that. But the point is that you have to just ask somebody who will not go, "Are you kidding me?" or get you fired. Right. Anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted you. You were telling us where to catch people, or us.
And you know what it is, guys. You can catch us on Facebook, and I'm gonna let you finish all one word. You guys are really funny there. Let me just tell you something. We have
hilarious. Freaking hilarious.
So many things. It's so
And
many.
You've all learned your lesson and you're not picking fights with each other. So Mom and Dad, thank you for that.
We really do.
Mom and Dad, thank you, because we didn't want to catch you outside.
Because there's been a couple of times we've had to step in and be like, okay, listen. This is a safe space for everyone to have an opinion.
Mom and Dad are not happy with your behavior. I'll call Courtney up and I'll call Courtney up and go, listen, I don't know this person, but I'm a little, should I tell him to shut up? And he's like, you write it because you can write better. And then
I'm always like, well, let me see what they're saying. And I go to start typing. I'm like, well, this is going to make it worse. I'm like, Amy, because, I just cut to the chase. Like, everybody stop the fucking shit.
I have learned from years of writing emails going, I think that some of what you write might not have come from your original source. If you think I've reached this judgment in error, please let me know.
And like that, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, this is Liberty DeVito.
This is Mike Del Giudice.
This is Michael Cavanaugh from Broadway's Moving Out.
This is John Jackson, director of the Billy Joel Archive.
This is Russell Javers.
This is Richie Cannata, and you're listening to Glass Houses, a Billy Joel podcast. It's awesome.
I'm Michael Grosvenor.
And I'm Jack Fernino.
We're lifelong Billy Joel fans who launched a podcast in 2020 celebrating the music we love.
Whether you're looking for the greatest hits or the B-sides and rarities, you'll find it all here. And if you've ever wondered what happens behind the scenes of a concert or recording session, we've got you covered.
Join us as we explore albums, tours, band members, the latest news, and more. You'll also get a unique glimpse into the music industry straight from the musicians and other professionals who help make it all happen.
Tune into Glass Houses, a Billy Joel podcast at glasshouses.pod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Glass Houses, a Billy Joel podcast is a proud member of the Pantheon Podcasts Network.